Hi, hello. Welcome to another episode of Isaiah's Newsstand. It's your host, Isaiah Edwards. The date is June the 16th, 2024. Hopefully this episode finds you well, in good spirits, and high hopes. As for me, I'm doing pretty good. I will say my morning started off rough. I partied a little too hardy and paid the price, but it was good. It was a fun time. Let's see here though. But yeah, overall, just for today, Sunday morning, afternoon now. I went to the grocery store during the afternoon. Real late start, but at least late for me. Got through that. That was fine. So did my little workout, and we're here now. So that's good. But let me get into last night. I wound up going back to Northside. Y'all know where I like to hang out with my friends. It was a really good time. I did get to go to Northside Tavern, so that was nice. Felt like hitting HQ again. It was literally over a month since I had been there. I will say I was sad because in my heart, I had wanted to get shawarma, but then by the time I got there, it just felt like it was too late. Plus, I had already ate like right before, so I was like, probably like don't need to do this. Shouldn't really worry about it. Whatever. But what I did wind up eating was chameleon again. It was good. I got another chicken sandwich. This time it was the Blue Beaster. Essentially, it was just a chicken sandwich with blue cheese on it, and then I got like hot sauce on it too, so that was good. Then I had an order of fries with that, and a Modelo, so that was nice. But yeah, then when I went to Tavern, I guess I kind of want to mention this because I feel like some of the drinks played a factor here specifically. I started off with a tall boy and a Tito's. And I was like, all right, cool. Nice start for this. Going out, we're drinking, hell yeah. I would later go on to get a big shot of Kraken. Like, I just got a shot, didn't really think twice about it. Saw the shot, I was like, oh wow, I guess I got a shot that big. That's pretty cool. And y'all know I normally don't drink Kraken, or maybe you don't. I'm not really a rum guy. I don't know. It was one of those things where like the way the alcohol and everything was taking me, I wind up just looking across the bar, seeing a thing of Kraken, and I'm like, you know what? Maybe it's time. Maybe it's time. Try that again. It was not the move. But then various bars, stuff like that. It was fun. It was cool. Wind up getting back to my friend's house, and we're just chilling, and we're eating like way too many taquitos. And then also I had a nice bagel with it was an everything bagel with a sour was it sour cream and chive, right? Yeah, so that was good. That was nice as well. All the taquitos with hot sauce. But yeah, that leads me to Sunday morning, in which I wake up and I was like, oh, I don't feel so good, Mr. Stark. And pretty much it came up. So yeah, that's where we're at. But like I said, I rallied. We're good now. I feel all right. Man, I had unclogged my sink though. That was a fucking chore of the day that I will not recount any further for y'all. But yeah, so we're here now. Here to talk about some news. So let's go ahead and do the startup, and we'll go ahead and get through the stuff and the things. Ooh, just the water today. Oh, all right. Let's start off with a couple of stories out of Gaza from excuse me, the Associated Press. Eight Israeli soldiers killed in southern Gaza in deadliest attack on Israeli forces in months. Let's see if it scrolls down here. Oh, okay. A little loading issues. Apologies. An explosion in southern Gaza killed 8 Israeli soldiers. the military said Saturday, making it the deadliest attack on Israeli forces in months. The attack, coming more than 8 months into a grinding war that shows few signs of ending soon, was likely to fuel new calls for a ceasefire by Israeli protesters. It also came as the government confronts widespread anger over exemptions from military service for young, ultra Orthodox men. Now, last part, I mean, I kind of wasn't surprised about when I heard it. I figured, though, given the circumstances, that there wouldn't be as many restrictions. But you often find that, like, in any country, in any one of the situations, because I know I've seen it in Ukraine, you're just going to have people doing anything and everything they can to not, get onto the battlefield and, like, get blown up. No one really wants to die at the end of the day. So I'm not surprised by that. Also not surprised to see where it's like, well, because it's religious reasons, we don't want to, change anything. So, yeah, I'm not surprised that there's really no changes. Let's see here. So, Saturday's explosion took place in Rafah, a southern city that Israel has identified as Hamas's last major stronghold. It sent in ground troops to the city in early May and has given no indication when the operation will end. The military said the explosion happened just after 5 a.m. in Tal al-Sultan area of Rafah. Rear Admiral Daniel Hagari, an Israeli spokesman, said it was caused either by an explosive placed by Hamas or an anti-tank missile. There's news there. Let me go ahead and hit on the other thing that came up. Also from the Associated Press, Israel's army says it will pause daytime fighting along a route in southern Gaza to help flow of aid. Israel's military announced on Sunday that it would pause fighting during daytime hours along a route in southern Gaza to free up a backlog of humanitarian aid deliveries for desperate Palestinians and during a humanitarian crisis sparked by war, now in its 9th month. The tactical pause was replies to about 12 kilometers or 7.4 miles of road in the Rafah area, falls short of a complete ceasefire in the territory that has been sought by the international community, including Israel's top ally, the United States. It also helps address some of the overwhelming needs of Palestinians that have surged in the recent weeks with the Israel's incursion into Rafah. The army said the daily pause would begin at 8 a.m. and last until 7 p.m. and continue until further notice. But that being said, I mean, as of right now, I haven't heard of any aid, actually being moved. And even so, I mean, just with aid being so stalled, it's going to be a drop in the bucket. There's always going to be more. You're going to need more than just this. And even then, I hope it's not just an empty promise. So, we'll see how that goes. But, we'll definitely mark it as something that is potentially good. Bit of a silver lining. Let's see. Muslims start marking the major Eid al-Adha holiday. Wanted to shout that out. Also, happy Father's Day. I know I rarely mention holidays in general, but it is relevant. Anyway, let me go ahead and hit the next thing. We're going to take it to Texas. WLWT5. I believe this might be like a CNN kind of extension in terms of the news. I'm not sure. At least 2 killed, multiple injured in shooting at Juneteenth celebration at Texas Park, officials say. At least 2 people were wounded, or at least 2 people were killed and multiple others were injured in a shooting at a Juneteenth celebration at a Round Rock, Texas Park Saturday night, police said. An altercation broke out between 2 groups during the event at Old Settlers Park, and someone produced a gun and began to fire, Round Rock Police Chief Alan Banks said at a news conference. A large crowd was at the event at the time, and multiple victims were hit, the chief said. Officers who were at the event responded and began rendering aid, Banks said. Police did not have any suspects in custody as of early Sunday morning, and it was unclear exactly how many people opened fire, according to the chief. This is an ongoing investigation. So yeah, obviously this is very unfortunate, very sad. People coming to, once again, celebrate another holiday. Granted, Juneteenth is next month, but I get, celebrating in the weekend before. It's a shame that, people had to bring, a firearm or multiple firearms to an event and, use them like this, because this isn't even like self-defense we're talking about. We're talking about, hey, we have an argument and we have an escalation, and eventually people just don't want to use words anymore. They usually want to skip fists or whatever, and then next thing you know, it's a weapon, it's a gun, it's death, and that fucking sucks. So obviously it's a real fucking shame. Let's see here, but we march on. Let's see. Oh, and then Banks said that the park will be closed for the duration of the morning on Father's Day. Let's see here. Let's move on to our last story. It's lighter than the rest of the stuff we've covered. I know usually I like to have my Sundays light and easy. This was, I feel like, quicker but a little bit heavier. So sorry about that. Sorry about it. But let me go ahead and do the last break. Hopefully take one with me. Do a little recharge. And we'll go ahead and close it out. Ooh. Remote workers using mouse mover technology are getting caught. According to a report from Bloomberg, based on disclosures filled with the Financial Industry Regulatory Authority, or FINRA, last month, Wells Fargo fired more than a dozen employees after an investigation revealed they were using devices or apps to simulate productivity on their computers. What's not known is how over a dozen staffers had jobs where their productivity could be measured by mouse movements. The FINRA disclosures did not reveal whether the terminated employees were caught using the tools while working remotely, according to Bloomberg, but they were all part of Wells Fargo's Wealth and Investment Management Unit. Now, in terms of just the mouse jigglers and stuff, they've been around for a while, but they definitely spiked in popularity because of the pandemic. A lot of people were working from home, and with that avenue being opened up, naturally, workers, supervisors, employers, whatever, you know what I mean? Y'all know what I'm saying. They wanted to make sure that everything was up to par, that people were working. So, they would have tracking software to make sure that your computer was active, that, or either software that was tracking your eye movements, things like that, making sure that you were on your computer on task at all times. But things like mouse jigglers were, nice little things that you could use to be like, oh, well, hey, maybe I got to go take a shit or walk my dog or whatever. And I know I can't be away from my computer, but this really needs to happen, whatever. So it would just give you the chance to do this thing. Or yeah, fuck it. You could just fucking piss off. I don't really give a shit. Anyway, obviously I get that this is a certain kind of situation where you're always going to have employers trying to enforce, productivity. That's what I'm looking for to say. And, it's okay, sure. Hell, I know this is a bit of a tangent, but I remember I was talking to a supervisor one time, and he was saying how, he wished that he could have technology that could track us when we were going to the bathroom. And essentially, dock us accordingly on productivity. And then fast forward, essentially, we have everyone doing headsets that more or less does that. So it's very annoying. It's very frustrating to see, oh, great, I love that these are advances in technology, and more or less it's just used to be a big brother eye on, your staff, making sure you're whipping them into shape. That being said, I guess, it's a highlight for mouse jigglers. I really don't think that this is that big of a fucking deal. But once again, I know how these companies move. I get it. It is what it fucking is. The beat goes on, or clicks on, whatever. I should have some quirky pun here, but I don't. But yeah, that's the episode. That's all we have. Pretty nice and short and sweet, I hope. But yeah, Thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being a friend. And hopefully I see you soon for some more good news. I love ya. Bye-bye. Mwah.